with the Nunu ulting out of the brush and baiting the enemy team into that range of the ultimate. Question is now, are they just going to pick away that Nunu and force the
That doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't think, because they've already grabbed Janna, and I mean, maybe it's
right.
AP Janna,
I didn't even think about the Janna pick. Yeah, okay,
it's not that likely, just because, I mean, he is actually a pretty good jungler, and I actually, like, a year ago saw, like, back when he was in SK, we kept practicing solo top Nunu against Warwick as like a thing, and he was like, "This is so powerful." But
but he's a blue jungler. He's a golem buff jungler. So
well, they picked Vladimir, so you never know. At this point, they might just go for it.
That would be an amazing move. I don't know that Alex plays AP jungler mid lane, and yeah, probably not going to happen. I didn't remember they already had Janna. Janna, of course, making a lot of sense, especially when you have somebody like Udyr and Irelia in the enemy team. A Janna ultimate can really put a distance there and just enable your team to kite these guys while you slowly wear them down.
So we're going to see Soulmid go for the last two picks now. They've actually been picking. Soulmid does not need to swap at all right now. They've actually picked into their own role. So Chaox has Kog'Maw, Rainman has Irelia, and Odd One is actually going to be jungling Udyr. So my bad on that call, but now it's time for them to pick their, their mage and support.
That is true. That is interesting because I just saw that Udyr has always been played top lane for TSM. So we don't know how good Odd One's Udyr jungle is. But obviously you don't want to jungle Irelia. I mean, you can, but it's not ideal. I know she was played a little bit as jungle when she came out. Yeah. But it's not ideal. She's so good at farming and sustaining a lane. And there we have the Nunu pick. Yeah, obviously M5 couldn't counter pick it, so at least I was half right.
No, you were,
that they do want to have the Nunu along with the Kog'Maw. And Reggie gonna play an Ahri in mid lane. Very, very safe pick there. He is going to be, I mean, if it's gonna be Vladimir mid, we don't know yet. But he's definitely going to be safe. He's going to be able to stay at a distance and just poke at whoever is going to go mid.
Yeah, Ahri's a good laner. Ahri can push pretty well as well, so she's the kind of champion you can max Q and just spam the Orb of Deception out there and get rid of minions and go into the jungle. So I like these picks because they've got, you know, Irelia and Ahri who can push really, really fast. Nunu and Kog'Maw the same way. They have AoEs, they have the ability to spam. And I think Janna and Ashe can't do that quite as well. So we're going to see what Moscow 5 are going to grab because it could run... Oh, Tryndamere. I haven't seen him yet in this tournament, and I like that a lot.
Mana-less jungler.
Yeah, but they don't have someone to give blue to. Their lineup is Vladimir, Lee Sin. I mean, Ashe could wear it, sure, but you know, it just means they can steal blue. I'm going to switch maybe to Kennen. This would be one of the rare times we actually see Kennen not as the AD carry.
So it is going to be Lee Sin jungle then.
Yeah, that would make sense at that point. But I mean, it's not 100% certain. Okay, there we go. They have locked in. So Kennen will be the presumably solo top. I mean, honestly, Vlad and Kennen can switch around. Right. But yeah, they have pretty much everyone is manaless for the most part. So we're gonna see how that actually works out for them. Meanwhile, solo mid gonna like to have some mana there. Every one of them actually a mana user. And, I mean, doesn't really suck to have mana and blue buff on you.
Blue buff, or even on an AD Kog'Maw, is a very, very important thing to have because that means while you're sieging a turret, you can just spam your R mercilessly and not worry about running out of mana. So they would be happy to have two blue buffs, but you know, if it goes M5's way, M5 are going to have two blue buffs and TSM have none of them. M5 are that kind of team that'll take blue buff from the enemy jungle, put it on their jungler who really doesn't need it at all, just so that the enemy doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't really help that much. How much cooldown reduction is it?
20% flat.
So that doesn't suck. Let's put it that way.
It's still useful,
nice to have. But yeah, she has absolutely no energy resource that benefits from it. Does the Rage actually on Shyvana generate more?
No, Rage is not affected by blue buff.
I thought so.
Or Fury. Yeah, looks like solo mid are you know, the teams have swapped around. Yes, in fact, the Rainman will be top as Irelia. So no swapping happened there. They have run Udyr 5 times solo mid, and they have never yet run him jungle. All 5 times that they've run Udyr in IEM, it's always been solo top. It's always been the Rainman playing that champion, and that's what they're going for in this one. Sorry, that's what they're not going for this time around is actually this jungle Udyr, and he's a very fast jungler. I mean, solo mid, they have a very fast-paced team. I mean, they have, you know, the Blood Boil, they have Ahri with blinking. Udyr runs around as a very fast player as well as just running around the map. And Irelia can push with pretty much impunity and can just dash around and CC. So this is a very fast, blitzy team from solo mid, and it makes a lot of sense. I am super excited for this game. It looks like both teams have picked lineups without obvious weaknesses. So it's not like we could say, oh, you just lost it in Champions League. Both of them seem to have lineups that they really like a lot, and we should see an evenly matched game here. And while we're still waiting for the load, just tell me, Freak, are you expecting a Phoenix or a Tiger Udyr in the jungle there? I mean, Phoenix clears faster, but Tiger might be better at dueling. He's a little bit better ganker, sure. Yeah. I mean, it could go either way. I guess we'll find out as the game goes on. But guys, we do have the game about to go underway, so we'll be right back after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the show, and we are here with the third round group stage game between Team Solo Mid and Moscow 5 at the Intel Extreme Masters Global Championship. And I'm Freak here with Xenon the Stoic as your casters for this game, and looks like no aggression just yet. Everyone's kind of standing off on either side of the jungle, kind of watching each other. You can kind of catch everyone in one frame.
Look at the amount of boots, though, in this game right now. TSM, 4 of them actually starting with boots and 3 pods. They all want to be very, very mobile. They want to be able to dodge harassment in lane, maybe even chase, and just, you know, even though M5 are usually known as the more mobile team, Lee Sin is starting with cloth and 5 pots, which is, of course, the safest way to start in the jungle, and he will be able to keep himself at full health for most of the time and be able to, you know, just make a nice little lair out of the enemy jungle.
Yep, absolutely, and you're going to see that, you know, Nunu poking his head into the jungle, but just getting poked out by Genja, kind of leaving that one. So we're going to see how this pans out. I think the late game, it's actually interesting, because late game scales pretty well for both of these teams. So when you've got this Nunu Kog'Maw sort of synergy there, and actually Solo Mid really want to screw up with Diamond's jungle. We're going to see if that turns into anything, or if Alex is going to be able to defend him properly. Reginald is going in there, landing some basic attacks. Alex does a good job dodging that Q right there, and this could go bad for Reginald very, very soon. Okay, does manage to dodge the shuriken there, but...
One thing that happened there is that Alex Ish didn't manage to pull the blue Wraith because of the presence of Reggie. I don't think Diamond took too much additional damage because of that. And in bot lane, we see that Xpecial and Kaiox have picked up the double golems without taking too much damage there.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy with that one. Both of those players did actually get experience for that one, so Nunu didn't, like, you know, dodge away, just let himself level up in time. But here's the Rayman. So Darian is going to be top as Vladimir, Kennan's going to be mid, and fighting against Ari. I think these are good matchups right now for Moscow 5. Vladimir has a really, really weak first, you know, 4 or 5, maybe even up to 7 levels. And Aurelia's not really going to pressure into that too much early on. So it's a good, safe place to put Vladimir. Aurelia's not the most hyper-aggressive laner. It's not someone like maybe, you know, Lee Sin or Gangplank that are really going to come after you from the get-go.
Yeah. Although there is a Lee Sin on M5's team, of course, in the jungle, and Lee Sin is somebody who can also early gank. So Aurelia doesn't even want to push the lane right now. As you can see, she is letting Darian build up the larger creep stack and push the lane in her direction, because she really doesn't want that level 2 gank. Level 2 or 3 gank from Lee Sin, of course, a lot scarier than a level 2 or 3 gank from Udyr.
Yeah, it is pretty scary at that point. If Udyr wants to have a strong gank at level 2, he's got to sacrifice a little bit of jungle speed by getting bear stance.
Yep.
It's not bad by any means. You can still do a lot of scary things with it, but yeah, and by the way, it is Phoenix Udyr, so...
Okay, yep.
But yeah, you typically don't see level 2 ganks from Udyr nearly as often as you see them from Lee Sin.
Exactly. Lee Sin just needs to get the Q and an E, which are both useful in the jungle as well, and he can use that to do a lot of damage, slow you, and possibly even get a kill very early in there. Looks like Darian is pushing the Rainman around right now. We see Diamond just picked up a blue buff for himself. Like you pointed out, there is no one on Team M5 who really needs that blue buff. All of them are energy-based, or yeah, actually all of them are energy-based or mana users. There's 2 mana users, of course, in bot lane right now.
Yep, and I was actually half expecting for Genja to kind of go up there and grab blue. He'd actually just finished pushing the bot lane minions right as he went over there, but that actually was not the case here. But yeah, Chaos getting bullied around. Genja doing a good job harassing him. We're going to see if he actually keeps up with the standard Wriggles Phantom Dancer build that we've normally seen from him.
I would have definitely expected, yeah.
But it seems like even less likely than someone like Ashe, though, who doesn't really want attack speed scaling and really just needs that AD and crit stack. Infinity Edge has a special synergy with her as she gets those free crits from her passive. So it'd be interesting to see if she actually keeps that same build going. This might be the first time we see her break that chain.
Darian is already going home. Do you think there is some sort of target item that he already can pick up? He does pick up, oh yeah, there you go. He does pick up Amplifying Tome and a ward, and I think that was the target that prompted him, oh yeah, I can go home, get one semi-useful item right now and a ward. So he wants to be safe from the very beginning. Alex Ish getting poked a little bit by Reggie there in mid lane, but he seems to be doing a pretty good job. Reggie at 26, he's at 36 CS. So 10 ahead there for M5. And generally TSM seem to have a bit of a farming advantage. They just hit 6K a little bit before M5. Obviously, all of this doesn't really matter. And now we see two people coming top lane again from M5. The Rainman going quite a bit too far ahead. I think Darien is baiting it, and yes, Rainman going in there, has to flash out, is still slowed by the blood pool. Diamond is getting close with the Q, and there is an ignite going down on Diamond right now. Rainman playing very, very aggressively there to scare them off, and it worked.
That was an incredibly smart move. He did three things really cool right there. One was the immediate flash as soon as he saw Lee Sin. The other one was he stunned him in turret range and then actually landed a few basic attacks. Because one, he's going to get some health back, being that he's Aurelia, he gets health back for landing autos. And two, he's dealing damage under a stun, so that he scares Lee Sin away from chasing him into the turret. Because the guy has red buff and boots, like he's going to hurt a whole lot. And so he did a really good job of scaring him away and saying, okay, now I'll run away. Now I know the stun has ended. And the thing is, he knows like Vladimir is not going to be doing a lot of DPS at like level 5. And so he knew he could sit there for a good second and a half and be like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Okay, now I'm going to run. And he managed to survive that gank. I mean, honestly, like I've been impressed by the Rain Man's sort of individual, decision making in these fights, pretty much repeatedly. I think he's kind of been given a bad rap.
And Chaos actually using the lifesteal quints that we saw on Curse's Cop earlier. He is at 9% lifesteal. It looks like somebody copied a build here from Curse. Curse, of course, with a super dominant Kog'Maw there in the first game. Kog'Maw plus Nunu combo. That was just that shut down TSM so very hard. And it looks like TSM already learning something from this tournament.
Absolutely. And another interesting thing about the Rune pages is there's Ari from Reginald not even running any magic penetration. It's just a bunch of bonus magic resist. See, this comes up there in the, you can see the magic pen, 0, just relying on the true damage and relying on the late game scaling with percentage penetration. Just wanting to survive this early lane from Kennen, scale into late.
Yeah, looks like Udyr was looking for a gank in top lane, but for some reason changed his mind. Vladimir did go back. There is a ward, of course, in River. We mentioned that Darien bought a very early ward, so he is going to lane very safely. Let's have a look at CS 44 for Aurelia versus 29 only for Vladimir, but like you said, he is very, very weak in the early levels. And he's going to pick up a lot of farm from himself there right now.
And Kog'Maw going back to the base to pick up some new items. Was very low on health. Rachel going to grab blue buff there, thanks to the odd one. So no kills just yet in this game, but you can see the gold actually in Solomid's favor by 200. They've done a very good job of sort of farming this game. They've gotten that fast heart of gold on Udyr as well, so they're actually going to win in gold over time. And now you can see the Ashe build is triple Doran's Blade. Yep. So they're going to use that for some early sustain, just as they seem to like on Moscow 5.
It's going to be triple Doran's Blade into Lantern into Seal.
You really still think it's going to be Lantern?
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah. It's just, if you do get the chance to turn something around in the enemy forest, then you want to pick up a quick dragon. Helps so much to have the Lantern. And even if you just want to trade in lane, that seems to be what Genja is building for generally. In top lane, we see Rainman going very aggressively against Darien. He did chunk him down to about 2/3 there, but of course Vladimir's mechanics just mean he can heal himself up again very, very quickly.
Yeah, but he's going to just keep sustaining. He's actually still going through some health potions, though. He's been kind of buying them every time he goes back just to make sure he's got some sustain, and he's been using them. So, I mean, the Rayman's still making Darien run through some health potions, so that's really not too bad of an idea.
Yeah, that is exactly what he should try to make happen. And yeah, exactly the same thing is happening there in top lane. Seems that the Rainman has that lane locked down right now. Actually, he is 1 CS behind right now, so that big stack of creeps that Vladimir picked up there, of course, helping him a lot. In bot lane, we see Kog'Maw 61 versus Ashe at 62. Very, very even game there. We see both Vladimir and Kennen have now picked up the Hextech Revolver, so I would not be surprised at all to see a double voter there. A core item, of course, on both of these champions, and it has that special synergy where normally two aura items don't really help you, but they do help the two champions who have the item themselves as well.
Yep. So there's going to be a little bit of stack in there, getting those champions a lot of spell vamp and extra ability power, and they're going to be nice and powerful. I was actually talking with CLGEU's Wicked in the crowd a little while ago, and he was commenting that he thinks double AP is a little bit stronger right now than the AP Bruiser thing.
Really?
But he sort of lamented that he himself doesn't know many AP champions. He's like, yeah, we're a little bit underpowered because I can only play Bruisers right now. I
think that's just Wicked trolling you. I don't think he really believes that. I don't know. It's possible, but if that was true, then Fnatic would be doing much better, I think. I think there's still a lot of Bruisers that just beat APs. And Diamond is gonna find, especially in misses the Q, unfortunately. He is now surrounded by TSM members. His bot lane is not, it's coming up right now. He is going to be safe. It looks like TSM could set up for a very early Dragon here. They do have 4 men ready already. Cannon is not in the neighborhood quite yet, but he is going to be there in time if they wait this long. Yeah, they definitely are trying to just get a pick off here. It's not going to happen. Diamond just jumping up the cliff, and in top lane, neither of them has teleport. So the top lane is going to be that little island it usually is.
Yep, neither of them ran TP, as you mentioned, so they're just going to sit up there and farm. And actually looks like Solomid have been scared away. Moscow 5 were actually very, very patient here. They dropped some wards down. I mean, they got cleared, sure, but...
Oh, Reginald going in with his ultimate against Diamond. This could be first blood if he lands a charm on top of it. The ignite is down as well, but Ash coming in range for safeguard, so Diamond can jump out of there. Well done. And TSM say, you know what, we just chunked Diamond down to about 1/3 of his health. We are going to take Dragon off of this, and let's see if M5 are going to let them do it. Odd1 still working on Dragon, but he's working on it alone right now as Alex Ich was poking in from above. Genja poking in with volleys there. Odd1 still doing the Dragon all by himself, and over time the Dragon is going to be doing a lot of damage. Cockmore landing a couple of good shots on Genja, but the exhaust didn't really happen. Now Alex Ich going in there with his ultimate. The Ash Arrow lands, but Nunu actually channeling his ultimate as well. So it's a 2-for-1 exchange right now in favor of TSM actually. But this may not be the case for very long. Genja is still at full health, poked down Chaos to less than half already. Vladimir ultimate didn't do that much. Darien can't actually go in there right now. Both top lanes are there as well. Oh, Raymond jumping in against Genja. This could look very bad for Genja. Has to use his heal and his flash. Just barely flashing out of shot. Is he going to use the Q to go in? No. Sorry, that was not a Q. I was confused. There were eyes over Ash. In my defense, that was, of course, just the R from Cotmore. But still.
He had blue buff, but it had stacked too many times. The mana cost got a little bit too high for him, and he couldn't quite finish that one off. But still, 2-1 that fight for solo mid. First blood did go to Nunu, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Looks like assists were spread pretty evenly. Everyone except the Udyr actually was sitting there fighting Dragon the entire time. So no gold for the odd one, but still the whole team doing a great job. They're picking up 2-1, and Nunu just barely surviving that entire time. I mean, just like holding on for dear life. He managed to get his ult off and pick up a kill and still survive the encounter. Sorry, he didn't survive the encounter. He did die, but still got a free gold pretend out of that of that kill. So Nunu's sitting on Philosopher's Stone and Heart of Gold, and this poor Janna for a Moscow 5
still
on Fairy Charm and Ruby Crystal.
Interesting that she buys the Ruby Crystal before finishing the Filler Stone. She just wants that pure survivability. And TSM are going for the Dragon again. I don't think M5 know this right now. This is very, very atypical for M5 to drop something like this. Actually, they did know about it. There was a ward in the middle of Dragon, but M5 just not in a position to do anything about it and have to cede that Dragon to TSM right now, who are looking like they're picking up a bit of an early advantage.